So this kid wanted me to do, he sent me this. He wanted me to analyze the Canadian law industry and profession. I'm like, okay, well, you're looking at $300. Oh, then he had a second question, and he writes, part two. I also just wanted to ask if you view real hardworking lawyers, tax, employment, labor, criminal, because he's from Canada, intellectual property lawyers, etc., different from the SJW activist types that we see a lot of today. I only ask this because in one of your recent YouTube videos, Don't Major in Accounting If You're Not Getting Your CPA, you seem to portray all lawyers and law students in the same SJW activist light at the beginning of the video. This confused me because despite the significant volume of leftist people in the legal profession, there are still legitimate good attorneys who study law because they're intent on working hard, contributing to the private sector, and pursuing excellence. You know what? I'll even give the leftist SJW types a qualification. They went to law school. That's not easy. The tragic thing about law students, even if, especially if they're the leftist type, it's like majoring in biology. It's a real legitimate field, but it's not employable. You put all that effort and work into a cult. I'm not even going to call it a religion or an ideology. It's a cult of leftism. Because what, you got a hate boner for men, hate boner for whites, hate boner for people to just make more than you, jealousy. I mean, hate is one thing, but man, there's nothing more petty than jealousy. And it's sad they'll spend 3 years and Lord knows how much money to change the world. And I'm gonna, and it's like, no, you're just gonna go into debt, and then hypocritically, because you're a leftist, you're gonna demand those people you hate and want to bring down bail you out of your student loans. So it's kind of tragic if they put that effort into something else, becoming a CPA or engineer or a programmer. They do rather well, but they're so blinded by their hate, and they're truly not independent-minded thinking. They're just cultists. That's all. Send them to Jonestown. They might as well be goody two-shoe Christians. I mean, seriously, I love how they hate on the Christians, but then it's like, well, yeah, but you're even more brainwashed by your Marxism than the Christians are by, JC in the sky. Pursuing excellence without being weak and warrior activists, even if these types are fewer and far between nowadays. You yourself even discussed these good lawyers in your 2014 video, why most lawyers are scum. So that is why I'm surprised that you now paint them all with the same brush. No, okay. When I talk about women, I know there are women who major in STEM. When I talk about men, I know there are men who are dipshit soy boy putzes who don't major in STEM. We don't have time to go through each individual group. We don't, or individual person. So that's why I was surprised that you now paint them all with the same brush. Well, then here's another reason why people paint a group of people with the same brush, and illegitimately. So like, well, she's a STEM major. Well, maybe if she catches a little bit of flack unfairly, saying like women should stop majoring in stupid shit. Well, I don't major in stupid shit. Why don't you go tell your group of people to stop majoring in stupid shit then? You can't criticize or constructively criticize, any group of people, because then you're an ist or an ism. So it's like, well, fuck it. I'm sick and tired of making exceptions. Like, well, there are some black. No, maybe black people should stop having kids they can't afford. Stop majoring in stupid shit. And then people get all upset. It's like, that's the exact same advice I give anybody else. What do you recommend? Major in stupid shit? Impoverish yourself? Have more kids than you can afford? Well, you flip it around, but you're painting with a big brush. Yes, I know. Many a black friend that I have, many old black client that I have, they're not the quote unquote stereotype. But when we're forced with this, lawyers want to be bailed out of their student, law students want to be bailed out of student loan, women want to close the wage gap, black men would like to escape poverty. Well, can we start generalizing things here policy-wise? Yes, I know, of course. You got your Thomas Sowells, your Walter E. Williams, your Ben Carsons, your unfortunately passed away recently, Herman Cain's, right? But if we're going to talk generally black poverty, and you present me a topic of a case, generally lawyers, well, I got to talk about them generally now, don't I? I'm sure if you ask your friend Chad Elkins, given his accounting work experience, you would agree that tax lawyers, for example, are far from worthless. I know you hate your reading, blah, blah, blah. By the way, great work on your book, How Not to Become a Millennial. Really enjoying it. Good. Glad you like it. You guys can buy it. It's available on Amazon.com. But no, kid, yeah, you're right. Yeah, I mean, don't do this. Well, not all lawyers are like, right. Not all lawyers are like that. Stereotypes are generally, and sometimes not even authentically accurate, but painting with a broad brush, it's a broad brush so we can move on and expedite conversation. In general, most lawyers are scum. Most of them. But yet, here I am. My lawyer is one of my best friends. She's wonderful. She hates my guts. She hits me upside my head. She'll literally hit me, crash at her place, and she'll say, what the fuck do you want? I mean, she's wonderful. She's great. Another buddy of mine, he's a corporate lawyer. We go golfing occasionally. He's a buddy of mine, lives in Phoenix. Yes, there are good lawyers. There's no doubt about it. I know another lawyer, knows my GF. This gal's great. She's got a lot of hustle. Divorce lawyer. Yes, there are good and bad people in every group, but in general, most lawyers are scum. And maybe lawyers as a group, you stand out. They go, whoa, I'm in this tainted pool of lawyers. Lawyers have a bad reputation. I got to make sure that I get a good reputation. I'm not some ambulance chaser or dial 1-800 if you happen to snort Roundup up your nose and we're going to sue. You got to establish that. And then, whether it's a club or an association or a profession, if you have a bad reputation, maybe you ought to start governing your own. Like feminists is a perfect example. Are there some good feminists? Yes, there actually is. There's some women who really just believe they don't hate men. They want the equal treatment of women. Now, maybe they're misinformed, maybe they're or maybe they're like, no, we've achieved parity and now but there are women who identify as feminists. And you, as an intellectually honest person, have to, okay, you're an individual. You judge people by the individual actions. But in general, yeah, most feminists hate men. They really do. And so maybe those gals, and a lot of them do, they're like, whoa, we got a PR problem here. MGTOW's the same thing. You got a bunch of MGTOWs legitimately hating on women, treating them like crap, or maybe not treating them like crap, but genuinely being true misogynists. That paints the whole group. And now you got to hey, whoa, who are these guys? And then you get the form of the incels. Oh, we write those guys off. They really don't like. But yes, there's good. About the only thing I wouldn't say there's good is good communists. I don't think there's, because that's like outright parasitism. They're thieves. I don't think there's anything good about that. Or Nazis or fascists. I don't think there's anything really good, or tyrants, dictators, criminals, that kind of thing. But yes, there are good lawyers. And if you want to go into law, you're going to go into a legit law firm, a legit law profession like tax law or estate or, whatever. As long as you're not an ambulance chaser driving up costs. Yeah, that's fine, man. Make sure you get into real, I'd recommend you get a degree in accounting. So if you don't succeed as a lawyer, you get yourself, you could become a bookkeeper or something. But yeah, no, I most lawyers still are scum, but there are some good lawyers. Django Geek, should I take out a PPP loan since it's free money? Honestly, no, I wouldn't. I might have qualified. Chad was saying I should, but you look at the paperwork. Look, do you want to date a bipolar girl? Because that's what you're going to do. You're getting involved with the government. You think the government's going to make it easy to fill out the paperwork and then you get feed? How much can you possibly get? How much labor and headache are you going to have to deal with, filing out, yeah, I should get it forgiven. And you got to deal with your tax. I mean, what kind of a nightmare are you getting into? Thank God I'm a minimalist. I didn't you qualify for it. I'm like, no. I just took the day off, man. I just enjoy myself a day off. I don't care how much money I would have made. Nope. Not dealing with the government. Not dealing with any more paperwork. All right, there you go. Questions, answers, assholeconsulting.com. See you guys later. Toodles.